Welcome to TSMI.
Hi, hello students. Welcome back to TSMI poetry series. So we're gonna end this poetry series of 10th standard by doing this last poem, that is Mending Wall, written by Robert Frost. So without wasting the time, let's get into the poem. Let me start with the note on the poet, that is Robert Frost. Okay, most oftenly quoted by many people. Okay, whenever they are doing speeches. Okay, in their wordings, usually they use Robert Frost quotes. Famous poet in English literature. Okay, he's from England. So let us know more about Robert Frost, what they are given in a textbook. So he was born in San Francisco. Okay, and his birth year and okay last years were given there, 1874 and 1963. He is regarded highly, okay, for his realistic depiction of rural life and his command of American colloquial speech, which means the way he written the poems, his work is totally easy one. Anybody can understand that. So that is the meaning of colloquial speech. His language is so friendly that anybody can understand. Okay, the English what he has used in his text or in his poems is so easy to understand. And most of his poems are written, okay, in England, that is rural England, and that is what we can see in his poems. And most of the things he covered regarding complex social and philosophical themes in his poems. And so the surface of cheerfulness and descriptive accuracy of his poems, okay, the way he presents the dark sober vision of life, and this is the things make this poem so thoughtful and so beautiful about this person, this his work, his literature work. And his most popular poet, and he got that for prestigious award in English, that is Pulitzer Prize Award. It's the most prestigious award given in the field of music, okay, poetry, magazines, or newspapers, in all field. Okay, in English it is given to, okay, this type of peoples. It covers all that art and literature, all fields. It's the most prestigious award, and this Robert Frost, this man has got that for 4 times. So it's an incredible thing one can do in his life, in their life. So he got that. So this is about the note on the author. Let's get into the quick explanation about this poem, Mending Wall. So I want to tell you this poem is taken from the book North of Boston, published in the year 1914 by Robert Frost, and this is the first poem in that book. And let's get into the poem. What this poem is all about. The title says everything about the poem, Mending Wall. So what we talk about this throughout the poem is mending a wall. So who will mend? What is the meaning of mending? Mending means to repair. Okay, to repair, to heal. Which wall we are talking? So I have just tried to draw art here. So it is not the formal wall what we see in the modern world. It's a wall between the two fields, two properties. Okay, there are two peoples in this chapter. Two, okay, persons. One is our speaker. Okay, we can assume it as a poet Robert Frost, but let's use the term speaker. Another one is neighbor. So those two people were sharing a property there. There is a property, okay, and there is a wall in between them. So one person stands for the wall, another person stands against the wall, which means one person want wall to be there, another person want wall is not at all required. So our speaker feels that wall is not necessary, and our neighbor feels that wall is necessary. So it starts with the simple lines, but as we move on, as we progress throughout the poem, it creates a lot of, okay, other things. It brings a lot of other things in our mind, that it's not just a wall they are talking about, okay, which is in between them. It takes us more. It can be wall between the two people who don't have an emotional connections. Okay, now we can see a lot of people have a lot of barriers in between them due to various reasons. It can be political reasons, or it can be race, caste, creed, religion, regional. These type of differences can be there. So that will open up as we just move on with the poetry. So I thought to keep it simple to what they have explained to 10th level. Okay, just keep it to 10th level. I don't want to complicate this poem, but you can understand this poem in a wider perspectives. Okay, it opens up that wider perspectiveness. You can go through the poem in a detailed fashion, but I'll try to finish it off as quickly as possible. It will be helpful for your examinations. So let me start with the poem. There's a free verse, blank verse. Okay, the poem consisting of totally around not around exactly 45 lines, and no rhythmic patterns were followed, and loosely followed iambic pentameter. Okay, no rhyming patterns can be seen here, and there are some wonderful figures of speeches used here, but I'm not elaborating those things. I'm just sticking to poem only. So I just want to explain you in the easiest fashion. Okay, so let's get into the poem there. Something there is that doesn't love a wall, that sends the frozen ground swell under it, and spills the upper boulder in the sun, and makes the gap even two can pass abreast. This is the first four lines. So in the first line only is speculating that. So there is something, okay, there is some force which is not liking the wall to be there. Which means in between the speaker and the neighbor, the property is there. I told you there are two properties, in between them there is a wall, and the speaker is speculating that there is something in the nature, there is some force in the nature, it can be God or anything you can imagine, so that doesn't like wall to be there. Both God and the nature don't want the wall to be there. He just speculating that sends the frozen ground swell under it. So frozen ground, okay, in the winter season we can see that the physics of that, the ice, it will expand and it will make that stones to fall down. The water, whatever settles in between the stone, ಆ ನೀರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕಲ್ಲಿನ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಉಳಿತಕ್ಕಂಥ ನೀರೇನಿದೆ ಫ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳನ್ನ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬೀಳ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಿದೆ. ದಟ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ದ ಫ್ರೋಸನ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಸ್ವೆಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಪಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೇಕ್ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಟು ಫಾಲ್ ಅಪ್ ಅ boulder, which means the stones which are placed above that wall, the stones are in the top of the wall, they just fall down because of that, the simple science, natural science. Okay, that makes the gaps even two can pass abreast. ಎಷ್ಟು ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ the gap what happens there is even two people can easily pass through that wall. It's not just a small wall I'm talking about, it's a big wall, okay, which they have created between their agriculture field. Okay, they have got a field and they created a big wall. This is this imagine that this type of wall. It's not the formal wall built by cement or okay this modern constructing equipments. It is just a simple wall. They have built it by keeping the stones one on another. That type of wall I'm talking about that. Okay, should not imagine that wall which we use cement and to bind it there. It's not that wall. Okay, the work of hunters is another thing. I have come after them and made repair, where they have left one stone on a stone, but they would have the rabbit out of hiding to please the helping dogs. So our speaker again saying that the work of hunter another thing. So he has in the first four lines he just got the guess that okay, he's imagining that okay there is some force in nature, it's not liking the wall to be there. The next few lines is saying that so the work of hunters, these hunters ಈ ಬೇಟೆ ಆಡೋರು ಏನಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಬೇಟೆ ಆಡೋರು ಬಂದು ಆ ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳನ್ನ ಬೀಳ್ಸಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರು, ನಾನು ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಅವರು. Which means he has seen what these hunters have done there and he came after them after once they got out of the place and he has repaired it too. But the way they have disturbed that wall, he has explained here. Okay, he is saying that they have not even left one store and another. Okay, but they whatever plan that hunters have got, they have succeeded in that. He is guessing that, which means they have came for the hunting the rabbits. Okay, they would have they have made that rabbits to run out of that place, and they would have caught that rabbit. So these things usually make the dogs to feel very happy. Okay, they would have pleased that helping dogs. Helping means that barking dogs. That's hunting. For hunting, usually dogs will be carried. They help usually these hunters to trap any animals, whatever animals they are okay hunting there. So he is telling that hunters have done whatever they have did there, and I came back and I repaired it. Everything was fine. Okay, they would have pleased their dogs also. ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡೋಗಿದ್ರು ಅದು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರು, ಆ ಗೋಡೆಗಳು ಕಲ್ಲನ್ನು ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬೀಳಿಸಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರು, ನಾನು ಬಂದು ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಪೇರಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಜೋಡಿಸಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಹಾಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು ಮೊಲ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇಟೆ ಆಡೋಕೆ ಏನು ಬಂದಿದೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ, ಆ ನಾಯಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗಿರ್ತದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಈ ನಾಯಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಬೇಟೆ ಆಡೋಕೆ ಹೋದಾಗ, ಅಂದರೆ ಬೇಟೆಗಾರನ ಜೊತೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಆ ಬೇಟೆ ಆಡೋದು ಒಂದು ಖುಷಿಯೇ ನಾಯಿಗಳಿಗೆ, ಅದನ್ನೇ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು. ದ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್ ಐ ಮೀನ್ ನೋ ಒನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಸೀನ್ ದ ಮೇಡ್ ಆರ್ ಹರ್ಡ್ ದ ಮೇಡ್. ಏನು ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್ ಉಂಟಾಗಿದೆ, ದ ಗ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹಿ ಇಸ್ ಸೀನ್ ದರ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಾಲ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ, he has not seen that. Okay, and here nobody has said him that these people have done it. ಯಾರೋ ಈ ಥರದವ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇಂಥವರೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ನೋಡೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಇವರು ಕೂಡ ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೋಯಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಇದು ರೀಡರ್ಸ್ನ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಲಿ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದು ಭಾಳ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ ಪೋಯಮ್ ಆ ಥರ. But at spring mending time, we find them there. I let my neighbor know beyond the hill, and on the day we meet to walk the line and set the wall between us once again. ಸೊ ಮುಂದೆ ಈ ವಾಲ್ ಏನು ಬಿದ್ದಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ನೋಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅವರ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಸೀನ್ ದಟ್ every time he sees that. And in the spring time, okay, the time when the nature gives us happiness, for them it is a kind of a problematic. So this guy, our speaker, goes there and sees that, and he has to inform that to the neighbor who is staying nearby that property only behind the hill. So that is a usual job every year. But the spring mending time, spring is like for the mending time, repairy time. Every spring they have to go there, they have to build a wall. So they both will see that, and even he used to inform his neighbor who lives near beyond the hill only. And on the day we meet to walk the line, which means on another side there'll be speaker, on this side our neighbor and speaker, both of them have to build it line by line. They have to walk along the property. Wherever stones have fallen, they have to take it, they have to keep it one on another, they have to build it again. Yeah, so that is the next 4 lines here. We keep the wall between us as we go. Just they move one each other on either side. They keep the stones whatever they fallen to each other on each sides. To each the boulders that have fallen to each, and some are lows and some are so nearly walls. We have to use a spell to make them balance. Stay where you are until our backs are turned. ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್, ದ ಶೇಪ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್. The shape of the stones are, some of them are loaves. Loaves means some are having sharp edges, some are like ball, some are like spherical shapes. All sorts of stones we can see. Understanding? It's not a regular shaped stones which people would have cutted it before. Okay, they have not carved it. It is just irregular shaped stones. He's explaining what kind of stones we are keeping that. He is giving the hint about that. And we have to use a spell to make them balance. Spell means some magical chantings. Usually we talk to non-living things. Some people have that habit of talking to non-living things. It can be anything. Okay, if something is there on the table, we talk to that. Okay, for example, if there is a bottle which is falling down, we say that don't fall. In the same way, they are doing that magical chantings because these stones they don't have the proper shapes so that they can balance one on another. So they're just telling that magical words to make that stones to stand. It won't stand anyhow, it will fall down, but they're just it is taking them, they're taking like a game. ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಗೇಮ್ ಹಾಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ವೀಕರಿಸ್ಕೊಂತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಆ ಕಲ್ಲು ಅಲ್ಲಿಟ್ಟು ಕೆಳಗೆ ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕೆ ತಿರುಗಿದಾಗ ನೀನು ಬೀಳ್ಬೇಡ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದು. ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು. ಆ ಕಲ್ಲು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಆ ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಫನ್ನಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು. ಇಬ್ಬರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀನು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಒಂಥರ ಗೇಮ್ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. ಆ ದಿನ ಅದು ಆ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸರಿ ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಹೋಗೋದು, ಆ ಕಲ್ಲ ಜೋಡಿಸೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಇದೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅದು. ಓಕೆ, ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು? ಸ್ಟೇ ವೆರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಅಂಟಿಲ್ ಅವರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಟರ್ನ್. ತಿರುಗೋವರೆಗೂ ನೀನು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರು, ಆ ಥರ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಹೋಪ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 20 lines. We wear our fingers rough with handling them. Oh, just another kind of outdoor game. One on a side. It comes to little more. There where it is, we do not need the wall. So we wear our fingers. It's not our normal stones. They're having a lot of spikes and all. So they just hurt their fingers. ಅಂದರೆ ಕೈಯೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾರ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಕೈಯೆಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಕಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಂಜುರೀಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಮೈನರ್ ಕಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ದೇ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ವೇರ್ ದೇರ್ ಫಿಂಗರ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಅನದರ್ ಔಟ್ಡೋರ್ ಗೇಮ್. ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಔಟ್ಡೋರ್ ಗೇಮ್ ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ಅಂತ. ನಾನೊಂದಿರು ನೀನೊಂದಿರು ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿ ಈ ಶಟಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ಮಿಂಟನ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಶಟಲ್ ನನಗೂ ಬೇಡ ನಿನಗೂ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಪಾಸ್ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಹೌ ದೇ ಡೂ ದಟ್ ಗೇಮ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ವೇ ಈಸ್ ಟ್ರೀಟಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಮೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ವಾಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅನದರ್ ಔಟ್ಡೋರ್ ಗೇಮ್. One on side. It comes to little more. One point ಬರುತ್ತೆ. There is a point comes beyond that. Okay, we don't need a wall at all. So now he is coming to actual point in the poem that why he is saying these all lines. Now we come to important what is that part of the poem. Important point in the poem. That is, he is saying that okay to his neighbor, there where it is we do not need the wall. Understanding? He is saying that there is no need of wall at all. Why? He's all pine and I'm apple or card. My apple trees will never get across and eat the cones under his spines. I tell him. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಕು ವಾಲ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ವಲ್ಲ. ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಲ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. Mine is apple trees. Okay, is all pine. Whatever trees he has planted there is a pine trees, and I got apple trees. Mine is apple orchard. Nandೊಂದು apple ತೋಟ ಇದೆ. ಆತಂದು ಪೈನ್ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಬೆಳೀತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಇದೆ. ನನ್ನ ಆ್ಯಪಲ್ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ಗಳು ಅವನ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ, ಅವನ ಪೈನ್ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ಗಳು ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಬರೋಲ್ಲ. ಮೈ ಆ್ಯಪಲ್ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ನೆವರ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ದ ಕೋನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಇಸ್ ಪೈನ್. ಏನು ಕೋನ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಪೈನ್ ಟ್ರೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಅದು ಕೋನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಅದು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಆ್ಯಪಲ್ ಟ್ರೀಸ್ಗಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತಿಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತಾ? ಒಂದು ತಿನ್ನಲ್ವಲ್ಲ. ಇವನು ಯಾಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ವಾಲ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಲೇ ವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಈ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ? ವಾಲ್ ಇರಲಿ ಅಂತಲೇ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ಗೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಇದು ವಾಲ್ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. There is no requirement of wall only. Okay, next. He only says, good fences make good neighbors. Spring is mischief in me, and I wonder if I could put a notion in his head. Why do they make good neighbors? Isn't it? So ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ತೊಂದರೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸೀಸನ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆ ನೈಬರ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ನೋಡಿ ಒಂದು ಡೈಲಾಗ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಗುಡ್ ಫೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಗುಡ್ ನೈಬರ್ಸ್. So you want to say that if you want to become a good neighbors, there should be a fence in between us. ಒಂದು ಬೇಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾರಿಯರ್ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು. ಇಬ್ಬರು ನೈಬರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಏನಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಬೇಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕಪಕ್ಕದವ್ರ ಮನೆ ಜೊತೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಒಂದು ಗೋಡೆ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ನೈಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಏನಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಫ್ಯೂಚರಲ್ಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಯ. ಓಕೆ, ಈಸ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರಿಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ. ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಮೇ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ದ ವಾಲ್. ದೇ ಮೇ ಡೂ ಎಂಕ್ರೋಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ. ಅವ್ರು ಬಂದು ಅದನ್ನು ಕಬಳಿಸ್ಕೋಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಅಕ್ರಮವಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನು ತಮ್ಮದಾಕಿಸ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಯ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ದ ಆಲೋಚನೆನೇ ಬೇರೆ. ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಪ್ಪ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ? ನಾನು ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿಲಿ ನೀವು ಬರೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನದೇ ಬೇರೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಇದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮದೇ ಬೇರೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಇದೆ. ಈ ವಾಲ್ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆನೇ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆತ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವೈ ಡು ದೇ ಮೇಕ್ ಗುಡ್ ನೈಬರ್ಸ್? ಇಸಂಟ್ ಇಟ್? ವೇರ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಕೌಸ್. ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ನೈಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು ವಾಲ್ ಇರಲಾರ್ದೇ? ವೇರ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಕೌಸ್. ಬಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ನೋ ಕೌಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಸುಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲ, ದನಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಕೌಸ್, ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಓಕೆ ವಾಲ್. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ? ಯಾಕೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಪೊಸೆಸಿವ್ನೆಸ್ನ ಬೆಳೆಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ? ವೈ ಡು ವಿ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಗ್ರೋ ಮೋರ್ ಪೊಸೆಸಿವ್ನೆಸ್ ಆನ್ ಅವರ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವೆನ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಕೌಸ್? ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಹಿಯರ್. Okay, if there are cows, they would have gone into a field or my field, they would have grazed our field. But there is nothing here. Correct? Okay. Before I built a wall, I would ask to know what I was wailing in and wailing out. Before we built the wall, I just used to ask that neighbor that what I'm keeping in and what I'm keeping out. Which means what I'm welcoming in and what I'm welcoming out. If I build the wall, what happens? There will be no open-mindedness between us. There will be no friendliness between us. There will be no togetherness between us. There will be only privacy. I'm welcoming privacy. Is that privacy makes us good? That creates a good human connection. A privacy in the ಒಳ್ಳೆ human connection ಬೆಳೀತಾ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಬಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಬೆಳೀತಾ. ಇದು ಏನು ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು? ವಾಟ್ ಐಮ್ wailing in and what I'm wailing out. If I remove this wall, what happens? There will be better connections, better human bonding, good emotional connection. We can become good friends with open-mindedness. We can share our thoughts. There will be a lot of physical space and mental space, so that we can share a lot of things. We can become a good human beings. So, but if you build the wall, what happens? There will be more distractions. That is what he's saying. What I'm willing in and what I'm willing out. Is there is any necessary wall ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದೆಯಾ? No need. ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅವ್ರ ವಾದ. Okay, but whom I was like to give offense? Again, the question is raised by our speaker. Whom I should give the offense? Okay, something that doesn't love a wall. The same statement of our first line of the poem. Something that doesn't love a wall. The force, that is the nature. Okay, that doesn't love a wall. That wants it down. I could say else to him, but it's not the else exactly. I would rather he said it for himself. Okay, elves. Okay, ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. Okay, sometimes he feels that okay, elves would have done this. Elves are some fairy like humans. Okay, small fairies. Okay, that plays tricks on the people. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಮಾಯಾವಿಗಳು ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಮನುಷ್ಯರನ್ನ ಮೋಸ ಮಾಡಿ ದಾರಿ ತಪ್ಪಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಅಂಥವು ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದಾ? ಅವರೇ ಗೂಡನ್ನ ಬೀಳಿಸಿರ್ಬೋದಾ? ಈ ಮಾಯಾವಿ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದು ಮೋಹಿನಿನೋ ಮಾಯಾವಿ ವೈರ ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಅಂಥದ್ದನ್ನಾರು ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದಾ ಅಂತ. ದೆವ್ವಗಳು ಭೂತಗಳು ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಥರ But ಅದಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂತಾರೆ ಅವರು. He mentioned that he ignores it again. Okay, I would rather he said it for himself. I see him there bringing a stone grasped firmly by the top in each hand like an old stone savage armed. ಏನೇ ನೀನು ಮಾತಾಡು, ಏನಾರ ಹೇಳು ನೀನು ಅವನಿಗೆ ನೈಬರ್ಗೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಸೇ ಟು ಹಿಮ್, ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ವಿಲಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ದಟ್ ಓಕೆ ವಾಲ್ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ದರ್. ಈ ವಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ವಾಲ್ ಟು ಬಿ ದರ್. ಹೌ ಈಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್? ಓಕೆ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಗೋಡೆ ಕಟ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಆ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ? ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದ ಅಂದರೆ, ಆ ನೇಬರು ಎರಡು ಶೋಲ್ಡರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಲ್ಲು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು, ಹಳೆಯ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಯಾವ ಕಾಲ ಅದು, ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಏಜಲ್ಲಿ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಕಲ್ಲಿನ ಯುಗ ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ಕಲ್ಲಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಗಾಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅವಾಗ ಬೇಟೆ ಆಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅಂತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಆ ಹಳೆಯ ಕಾಲದ ಮನುಷ್ಯ, ಏನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಂದಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ ಅವನು. ಬರೋದು, ಕಲ್ಲು ತೊಗೊಳೋದು, ಜೋಡಿಸೋದು, ಕಲ್ಲು ತೊಗೊಳೋದು, ಜೋಡಿಸೋದು. ಯಾರ ಮಾತು ಈ ಮಾತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅವನು. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಒಂದು ತಲೆ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಥಾಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾವ ಥಾಟು? ಗುಡ್ ಫೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಮೇಕ್ ಗುಡ್ ನೇಬರ್ಸ್. ಏನಾರ ಹೇಳೋ ಮರ್ಯ, ನನಗಂತೂ ಗೋಡೆ ಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ, ಆ ರೀತಿ ಇರ್ತಾನೆ ಅದು. ಓಕೆ, ನೀಚ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಸ್ಯಾವೇಜ್ ಆರ್ಮ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸಿಮಿಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು, ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾ? ಲೈಕ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಸ್ಯಾವೇಜ್ ಆರ್ಮ್, figures of speech ಇದೆ. Next line, he moves in darkness as it seems to me, not of woods only and the shade of trees. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಇವನು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಓಕೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವನು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮೂವಿಂಗ್ he moves in the darkness. It's not the darkness created by the trees or woods, it's something beyond that. ಅಂತ ಕತ್ಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಆ ಕತ್ಲೆಯನ್ನು ಬರೀ ಗಿಡಗಳ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ನೆರಳಲ್ಲಿ ಉಂಟಾದಂಥ ಕತ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ಇದು ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ತುಂಬ ದೊಡ್ಡದು ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಆ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ನೆಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅವನಿಗೆ, ಆ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ನೆಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಏನು ಡಾರ್ಕ್ನೆಸ್ಸು? ಆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಲಿನೆಸ್ನ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರ ಒಂದು ನೇಚರು, ತುಂಬ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್, ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಫ್ಯಾಷನ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು, ಹಳೆ ಥಾಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆನ್ ಆಗಿರೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಹೊಸ ಹೊಸ ವಿಚಾರಗಳನ್ನು ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಾರ್ದೇ ಇರೋದು. ನಾನು ಹಳೆ ಕಾಲದ ಥರನೇ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಅಪ್ಪ ಹೇಳಿದ ಮಾತನ್ನೇ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ತಾತ ಹೇಳಿದ ಮಾತೇ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಥರ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅಂಥವ್ರು, ಔಟ್ಡೇಟೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಓಕೆ, ಈಸ್ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಏಜ್ ಮೆಂಟಾಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು. ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಏಜ್ ಅಂತ ತುಂಬ ಹಳೆ ಕಾಲದ ಮೆಂಟಾಲಿಟಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಪೀಕರ್ ತುಂಬ ಕಾಸ್ಮೋಪೊಲಿಟನ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಕು? ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ನೋ ನೀಡ್, ರೈಟ್? ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಅ ಗುಡ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ವಿತೌಟ್ ವಾಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಬಟ್ ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಫಿಯರ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯೂ. ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ಇಫ್ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ವಾಲ್? ಏನಾರು ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ, ಇಫ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಪೋಯಮ್ ಓಪನ್ಸ್ ಅಸ್ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಬೋತ್ ವೇ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗಿವ್ ಎನಿ ಜಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎಂಡ್. ಜಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪೋಯಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಇದು ಎರಡು ಥರ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳು, ಎರಡು ರೀತಿ ಬಣಗಳು ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಓಕೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲೇ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೋಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಕೆಲವರು ಗೋಡೆ ಬೇಕನ್ನೋರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಗೋಡೆ ಬೇಡ ಅನ್ನೋರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಗೋಡೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಕೆಟ್ಟದಾಗತ್ತನ್ನೋರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಗೋಡೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಾಗತ್ತನ್ನೋರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎರಡೂ ಥರ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಬೋತ್ ವೇ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪೋಯಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಎಲಾಬ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ಅದನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗ್ಬೋದು. Okay, I'll just finish it off this last 3 lines. He will not go beyond his father's saying, and he likes having thought of it so well. He says again, good fences make good neighbors. Okay, our appa ಹೇಳಿದ ಮಾತನ್ನ ಮೀರಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. He's not going beyond his father's words. His father has said to him, good fences make good neighbors, and he has imprinted on his in his what is that body everywhere in his mind. So hope you understood. Okay, it's not going beyond the father's line. So that is a mending wall for you in a one perspective. So there is a lot of perspectives we can open up, we can understand poem in still deeper way, and this is the way I tried my best to finish it off in a quickest possible way, because you have got exams coming nearer. So hope you all do well with this poetry sections, understand the poems. I want to tell you again that each poems can be understood in a next level. Okay, you can understand in a much more wider perspectives can be added. More knowledge you can acquire by reading through a lot of poems, summaries, notes. Okay, and if there is any comments on these poems, if you want to ask any doubt, you are free to ask anytime. Okay, in comment section, Instagram, wherever you are connected, you can talk to us. We're going to help you there. Okay, and we'll meet with a new video in the next session. Until then, take care. Bye.